Alright, so in this video we're going to be going over linear equations, and specifically we're going to be talking about different forms of linear equations. Okay, so we've mainly been working with one form of linear equations, and that is the slope-intercept form. Okay, so what does the slope-intercept form look like? Well, we know what this one looks like. It's y equals mx plus b. Okay, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And we can ask ourselves, well, what information does this give us? Well, this obviously gives us, as the name suggests as well, it gives us the slope, and that is m, and it also gives us the y-intercept. Okay, so in this situation, the slope-intercept form is really useful if we need to know the slope of the equation, or if we need to know the y-intercept of the equation, or where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, there's two other forms that we can talk about here, one of them being the point-slope form. Okay, and again, as the name would kind of suggests, we can assume what information this is going to give us, but let's actually take a look at it. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So this is the point slope form of an equation, and we can ask ourselves, what information does this give us? Well, it gives us slope, again, it's in the name, and it also gives us a point. Okay, point being x1, y1, right? x1 and y1 are just the coordinates of some point on our graph. Okay, and it gives us the slope in terms of the slope being m. Okay, and you can kind of see how we get the slope as well, because remember, slope is equal to rise over run, which is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or if we divide both of these sides by x minus x1. So if we were to divide by x minus x1 and x minus x1, you can see that we have slope, because this would just cancel out. We would get slope is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Okay, so that's just kind of something to keep in the back of your head, that this relationship exists. Okay, and the last form that we have here is the standard form. Okay, so standard form, and this equation looks like this. It's ax plus by equals c, and traditional a, b, and c are not fractions. They're integers. This isn't necessarily a hard rule, but a lot of people will ask for a, b, and c to be integers, so no fractions, no decimals. Okay, and what does this give us exactly? Well, it gives us some random numbers a, b, and c, but more specifically, we can use those numbers to help find both the x-intercept, okay, and the y-intercept. So this is the standard form is the only form that will allow us to find the x-intercept of a linear equation fairly easily. You can, of course, use the point slope or the slope-intercept form to find the x-intercept as well, or where your graph crosses the x-axis, not the y-axis, but the x-axis. Okay, if you wanted to do that, that wouldn't be too difficult. But in the standard form, it's just a little bit easier to do, and that's what it's kind of useful for. Okay, so these are the three different types of forms of linear equations that we can get. In this video, all we're going to be doing is just going over those forms, which we just did, what they're useful for, and what we can use them to find. In the next video, following this one, we're going to be converting between different forms of linear equations. So I'll give you an equation maybe in point-slope form, and I'll ask you to give it to me in slope-intercept form. Okay, so that's coming up in the next video.